Now the news in full. The Nigeria Country Director, International Fund for Agricultural Development, IFAD, has commended the Ogun State government for taking a step further in addressing poverty in the rural areas and ensuring food security for the state, having improved rice yield by 47% and cassava by 61%. The country director, Mrs. Dede Ekwe, thumbed up the state government when he was received in Abeokuta by the secretary to the Ogun State government, Mr. Tokunbo Talabi. Mrs. Dede, who said she was in Ogun State to take stock of the program and the achievement so far, as well as further discuss the implementation support vision, which is in conjunction with the federal government to boost the value chain development program in agricultural production. She said she was impressed, having gone round the state to meet with the farmers, saying the program has been successful in the state due to the genuine cooperation of the federal and state government with IFAD. He commended farmers in the state for making their farm produce more competitive, contribute to food security and creation of jobs. She noted that the meeting with the secretary to the state government was to look further into ways to improve on programs and scale up productivity, calling on stakeholders to join hands to support the program.
Cassava by 61%. We really are pleased with the progress of the program here in Ogun.
The IFAD director said the next phase of the program is to focus on giving farmers more input, foster small-scale processing, give them equipment to do the processing, and connecting them to the market, as IFAD is ready to facilitate the linkage between the farmers and international partners who are willing to buy the produce from farmers. Also at the meeting were Honorable Commissioner for Finance and Chief Economic Advisor to the Governor, Mr. Dakpo Okubadejo, Commissioner for Budget and Planning, Mr. Laolu Olabinton, as well as Commissioner for Agriculture, Dr. Samson Adiola Odedino, represented by the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry, Mr. Dotun Shurunke. The World Bank Rural Road Project, majorly for 20 local government areas in Ogun State, will be flagged off next month from Alapakoni in the Obafemi Owode local government area. The Ogun State Commissioner for Rural Development, Jamiu Odetogun, disclosed this in Abeokuta during a forum put together to brainstorm on the maintenance of rural infrastructure. Fowora Adesanwo reports that the road projects are being bankrolled under the World Bank, federal and the Ogun State government, and the French Agency for Development Program. His reports.
Call it a build-up to the sustenance of Ogun Agro-Cargo Airport Ileshan-Remo project. You may not be wrong. A sizable number of the rural roads have been earmarked for world standard rural road network construction and its maintenance strategically mapped out.
The agency will come up to take over the responsibility of this road in terms of maintenance. Not even only that, sourcing fund internally as a percentage collateral for whatever that is going to be spent on that. And the stakeholders are also very involved. The trade transport unions are not going to leave this country. The farmers are not going to leave this country. Every other stakeholders are going to be here. They're going to be leaving us with the agency to manage after all the program is being concluded.
Ours is a very big state with a large rural community and pockets of municipal and urban areas. So there's a lot of attention that needs to be placed on our rural communities. Of course, transportation roads is an important aspect, but there are other areas of rural development that are critical to social economic development within Ogun State.
The World Bank, French Agency for Development, and the federal government have brought into the developmental plans of Prince Dakpo Abiodun's administration, and all the 20 local government areas in Ogun State will not be left out from benefiting.
Very soon, the agro-cargo airport will be commissioned. We are having the emergence of agro-processing zones and all other laudable agricultural projects that are emerging. So when we have our rural roads well established, linked to secondary markets, and value will be added.
we deal with the rural access and agricultural marketing in the rural areas. And there is a pilot project that we are starting with. Ogun State has been selected as one of the 4 pilot states to start with the demonstration road. We are 13 states in the project, and Ogun State is one of the first 4.
Better life for the rural dwellers and the concerted effort to nip in the bud urban drift with over 4,000 kilometers of rural roads identified in Ogun State for construction.
Ewedu is something that is consumed internationally. So we are looking to now start partnershiping with other ministries in terms of export. And we're actually giving the grassroots agriculture, the farmers, a sense of knowing that their future is being taken care of.
We have come up with a recommendation whereby the State Road Fund, as it's established, will be able to provide funding to the state government and local government for the funding of roads maintenance.
With all-round provision of infrastructure across the 20 local government areas of the state by Prince Dakwa Abiodun's administration, the gross domestic product and the economy of Ogun State will be an envy of all. Adefowora Adesanwo, OGTV News.
Ogun State government has lauded the effort of staff of Central Bank of Nigeria, Abeokuta branch, for the contribution through the rehabilitation of a block of classrooms, laboratory, and staff room. The Commissioner for Education, Science and Technology, Professor Abayomi Arigbabu, gave the commendation at the commissioning of the rehabilitated building at Methodist High School, Ogbe, applauding them for the magnanimity and register displayed in the renovation exercise.
This is how to actually give back. The children here that will benefit from this type of thing, many of them you know them, but God has a way of rewarding and you know, blessing people for whatever they do at any particular point in time. Adopt a school project means you can go to a school like Methodist and say, okay, I want to adopt this school and take over. In other words, I want to help in renovating school classrooms and building more classrooms and so on. Everything totally. It is possible. The only thing you can do to encourage people who do this type of thing is to make sure you use the facilities very well. So the principal, the students, and the teachers, please help us to maintain these facilities very well, so that CBN will look at it again. When you said overseas, the only way they can come back and give you more is when they see the one they have done and it's still standing. They'll come and add more to it. But if they have to come and repair the ones they did before, they will not want to do that. So please use this facility well, so that donors will be very happy and encouraged to continue to do more for your school.
The commissioner who highlighted some of the achievements of the Prince Dakwa Abiodun-led administration since inception, to include rehabilitation of schools, distribution of furniture, and improved academic performance and standard, promised that government would not rest on its oars to reposition education. Arigbabu encouraged continued support in the Adopt a School initiative, especially in remote cities and towns, positing that such development interventions could also identify pressing community needs and be instrumental in the provision of such. In his remarks, the CBN controller, Abeokuta branch, Alhaji Wahab Hussaini, revealed that the Corporate Social Responsibility Project initiative, which spanned over 10 years, was mandated by the Governor of Central Bank, and it was executed through the personal contribution of staff of the bank. In a welcome address, the principal of the school, Mrs. Olubumi Oyegoke, appreciated the donor for contributing their quota to the development of the school and for choosing a worthy cause by rehabilitating the classrooms, staff room, and laboratory, promising that the school will make good use of the donation for improved academic performance. Technicians and artisans plying their trades across Ogun State have been called upon to upgrade their skills and be abreast of modern tools and skills, as it is by so doing that they would remain relevant and be more financially viable in today's world. Special advisor to the Governor on Technical and Vocational Education and Training, Professor Joseph Odemoyiwa, who gave the church while playing host to executive members of the Licensed Electrical Contractors Association of Nigeria, Welders Association B1 Zone, Songo, as well as Association of Tailors and Terrazzo in his office in Abeokuta, added that they need to unlearn a lot of things in the line of their trade as they are no longer tenable.
Education workshop in a secondary school, we are looking at you people that are practicing this trade outside to collaborate with us. I'm not saying going to be free for life, but initially you have to make some sacrifices and contribute something to the development of your trade.
The administration of Prince Dapo Abiodun was aware of the enormous contribution of technicians and artisans, hence it would continue to provide an enabling environment for them, as well as link them with industries, use their various workshops for short-term practical trainings for school leavers and youth, saying the neglect of the sector was responsible for unemployment among the youth. He submitted that technicians and artisans are important as their skills are not only useful locally but also in high demand in the entire world because technical and vocational education is a global need, pointing out that today's education should be on production of artisans and technicians to replace the aging ones. In his remarks, Acting Rector, Gateway Industrial and Petro Gas Institute, ONI, Dr. Ladi Alebioshu, appreciated the government for according TVET the needed attention, noting that the institution was willing to collaborate with the state in training as well as upgrading of technicians and artisans across the state. Speaking on behalf of the associations, Omotayo Lamidi, Babajide Joseph, and Adeleye Monsoro thanked the government for its various interventions for them and appealed to government to help checkmate the influx of foreign nationals who carry out substandard jobs and altered prices, especially in the tiling trade. Still ahead in the news, Nigeria, UNICEF partner of all residents of Ogun State, as well as development of socio-economic infrastructure in making life bearable of utmost priority to the current administration. This was emphasized by the State Commissioner for Special Duties and Intergovernmental Affairs, Mrs. Olufemi Ilori-Aduntan, during a familiarization tour to the newly ultramodern fire and safety services stations at Mowe and Ifo, as well as renovated fire station headquarters at Onikoko, all in Ogun Central Senatorial District. Our reporter, Kumisola Shokoya, was with the team in our report.
The mantra of the Prince Dapo Abiodun-led administration is to ensure even distribution of infrastructure across the various sectors of the economy. To this end, upon assumption of office, construction of new fire safety stations and renovation of existing stations was accorded utmost priority. Commissioner for Special Duties and Intergovernmental Affairs, Mrs. Olufemi Ilori-Aduntan, accompanied by officials of the ministry, embarked on a familiarization tour to the newly built ultramodern fire safety stations at Mowe, Ifo, and the renovated fire station headquarters at Onikoko, Abeokuta. Mrs. Olufemi Ilori-Aduntan reaffirmed government's resolute determination at ensuring the safety of every citizen against fire, flood, and other natural disasters.
In every country, there must be a fire station. So, and in this state now, my governor is very, very key in making sure that fire station is being erected in every local government, and that's what we're trying to do.
Special Assistant to the Governor on Special Duties and Intergovernmental Affairs, Adewale Aka, together with the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry, Dr. Rotimi Olu Akinlesi, while noting that 150 fire officers have just been recruited in the state, urged both the newly recruited and old officers to remain dedicated and committed in their services.
We went to Mowe. I think you can see what we have there, and Ifo as well. We have another one in the Sherry. Very soon my governor is going to commission this so that it can be useful for the purpose of the Ogun State.
The governor has recruited 150 new fire officers and firemen. This is crucial because we have 4 new fire stations, and you need officers and men that will work in these fire stations.
The Director of Ogun State Fire Safety Services, Engineer Fatai Adefala, thanked the state government for the creation of a conducive working environment with modern tools for firefighters in different locations in the state.
Yeah, we have been having challenges over the years. Now, when there's fire calls, most of the time, we call on Lagos State for assistance. But having another fire stations, ultra-modern one, the first of its kind in the states, it will reduce distress call within that axis.
The commissioner thereafter inspected the different operational areas at the stations. The newly constructed fire and safety service stations would be commissioned soon in a bid to reduce risks of injury and damage caused by fire. Kumisola Shokoya, OGTV News.
Shalina Healthcare Nigeria Limited, a multi-billion pharmaceutical company located at Isheri area of Ogun State, is to be commissioned soon, while appreciating the current administration in Ogun State for providing an enabling environment for businesses to thrive. The management of the company, during a courtesy call on the Office of the Commissioner for Industry, Trade and Investment, Mrs. Kike Lomolunge, ascertained the future of the company in partnership with the state.
We are particularly excited about their focus on increasing local content, getting raw materials in country. That's import substitution. It will save us having to spend, valuable foreign exchange importing these raw materials that are available locally. They are committed to also strengthen the research and development unit to increase the percentage of local inputs for their products. We're quite excited about it because beyond pharmaceuticals, they started household products as well, soaps and lotions, and they do have the potential to grow very big.
The Managing Director and Chief Commercial Officer of the company in Nigeria and West Africa, Aaron Raj, said over 100 people employed are indigenous, thereby reducing the rate of unemployment in the state.
And you can see most of the industries, when it comes to manufacturing, it's all in Ogun State. So it clearly shows a commitment of the government, and we are very positive about it. That's why we came here.
This is the outcome of the many meetings held by the commissioner to ensure that investment and trade improves in the state. And coming from Gombe State, the state has declared an outbreak of cholera after 10 deaths were recorded across the state. Habu Dahiru, Gombe Commissioner for Health, stated this on Thursday while addressing journalists. Dahiru, who was represented by Abdurrahman Shuaibu, Executive Secretary of the Gombe Primary Healthcare Development Agency, said as of September 20, 236 cases of cholera had been recorded in the state. The commissioner said increased downpour of rain and flooding in many parts of the state led to the cholera outbreak. He said the contamination of wells and boreholes in affected communities will be carried out and distribution of water treatment tablets in all affected communities will be conducted. According to the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, over 300 persons have been killed, while 100,000 others have been displaced by floods in 2022. According to the Nigeria Center for Disease Control, there have been 3,610 cases of cholera in 2022, with 91 deaths reported. The Ogun State House of Assembly has screened Governor Dapo Abiodun's nominee, Mr. Lateef Akorede-Balogun, fellow chartered accountant, as the Auditor General for the state, with a charge on him to evolve innovative measures and practices towards sustaining transparency and accountability in the auditing of government resources. The lawmakers, led by the Speaker, Right Honorable Lakunle Oluomo, gave the charge during the screening exercise of the nominee held at the Assembly Complex, Okemoson, Abeokuta. Correspondent Kolawole Osho covered the screening exercise. His report is presented in this package.
Presiding over the screening exercise, Speaker Right Honorable Olakunle Oluomo who noted that the exercise was part of the constitutional responsibilities of the House, advised the nominee to work towards ensuring the audited reports of ministries, department, agencies were up to date, ensuring transparency and accountability in discharge of his duty. In their separate remarks, lawmakers, including Deputy Speaker Honorable Akin Balogun, who described Governor Abiodun's nomination as a round peg in the round hole, implored the nominees to further sustain the tempo of entrenching financial discipline in the management of government financial resources by all public officers. Responding, the nominee, Mr. Lateef Akorede Balogun, who reeled out his curriculum vitae to the lawmakers, assured of turning around the fortunes of the office to enable it live up to the expectation of the public if confirmed by the Assembly and sworn in by the Governor. He further assured of timely compilation and submission of the annual audit report and subsequent transmission to the Assembly for further legislative actions, with an assurance of stepping up measures towards curbing waste and recurring fiscal infraction by MDAs. Explaining the role of improved capacity development to auditors, Balogun assured lawmakers of putting in place more retraining and refresher courses to equip its workforce with further trend in modern auditing.
There's a lot of terms and techniques in accounting and nothing can do about it. The first thing is training and retraining of our staff. And with the assistance of this honorable house, public account committee, we are having attention of the entities. And I promise you, the audit of the state government financial statement will continue to be improved.
Balogun is an indigene of Odeda local government, and the present director, government accounts, is a banking and finance graduate from Olabisi Onabanjo University and a fellow Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria, ICANN, who joined the civil service in September 2002. The nominee, who rose through the ranks with membership of professional bodies, has vast experience in modern auditing methods and reporting, public debt management, and supervised examination of annual appropriate accounts as prepared by the MDAs and audit certification on the accounts.
The June 2022 edition of the Combined Confirmation, Promotion Test and Compulsory Examination for officers in the junior and superior officers cadres in the Ogun State Public Service has been scheduled to hold between Wednesday 28 and Friday 30 September 2022. According to a statement by the Permanent Secretary Bureau of Establishment and Training, Mrs. Lydia Fajongo, the examination will take place at Babalake Memorial Hall, Moshood Abiola Polytechnic, Ujiri, Abeokuta, starting at 9 in the morning daily. The statement called on all registered candidates to come with copies of their staff identity cards, letters of appointment, or inter-cadre transfer for the collection of the examination identity cards between Monday 26th and Tuesday 27 September 2022 at the Staff Development Center, Ukelewo, Abeokuta, from 10 in the morning each day. Mrs. Fajongbo also advised officers in each cadre to check the examination timetable attached with the circular letters sent to the agencies to prepare ahead. President Muhammadu Buhari has called on African countries to collaborate more effectively with their counterparts in working harder in order to achieve common objectives. The president stated this while granting audience to the president of Palestine, Mahmoud Abbas, in New York on the emergence of the UN General Assembly. The Palestinian leader, Mahmoud Abbas, visited President Buhari to express formal appreciation to Nigeria for being a consistent supporter of the Palestinian cause. He reiterated that the Palestinian issue had dragged for a long time without commensurate progress. Mahmoud Abbas had told the president that Palestinians have decided to pursue a peaceful path towards resolving the matter, relying on nations like Nigeria. The Nigerian leader said for the actualization of the United Nations resolution, which proposed a two-state resolution to the crisis, the rest of the world needs to be abreast of the current state of things in order to find a permanent solution. President Buhari also received in audience the former president of Niger, Mahmoud Yusufu, who is the special envoy of the United Nations on joint strategic assessment and governance situation in the Sahel. He assured him of the support of Nigeria in the discharge of its assignment bordering on seeking political and economic solutions to issues confronting countries in the Sahel. The president stressed the essence of the collaboration between the Lake Chad Basin Commission and the Great Green Wall towards combating the desertification spreading across South African states, as well as finding practical solutions to the misplacement of over 30 million persons whose means of livelihood depended on the shrinking Lake Chad. The General Secretary of the Organization of Islamic Cooperation, Azan Ibrahim Taba, also came calling discussions centered on ways of deepening and expanding areas of collaboration and cooperation between Nigeria and OIC for enhanced mutual benefits.
Ready to help Nigeria with the humanitarian crisis in the northeast of the country in particular, and in other projects such as the recharging of Lake Chad, and also in the fight against terrorism, to cooperate and more or less try to replicate what they're doing in Uzbekistan with the Lake Chad.
The United Nations Children Fund, UNICEF, and the federal government of Nigeria are to collaborate on digitalizing birth registration in the country. Emilia Allen, a child protection manager with the UNICEF Kano Field Office, disclosed this at a two-day capacity building workshop organized for journalists from Katsina, Kano, and Jigawa in Kano. She said that birth registration is important in any country because the data is used for planning, adding that without effective registration, the planning will fail. The child rights protection experts added that digital registration of children will go directly to the system and a digital certificate will be printed out, not like that of the manual system. The former governor of Borno State, Senator Alimodo Sharif, said the former president of Nigeria, Chief Olusegun Obasanjo, is an elder statesman with good pedigree that one would continue to reckon with, particularly as regards the Nigerian project. Senator Alimodo Sharif stated this in Abeokuta on a private visit to Chief Obasanjo.
A private visit. You know, Baba is an elder statesman. If Nigeria is a company, Baba is the chairman and chief executive of Nigeria. So I came for consultation with my dad and have a private chat.
Expressed confidence that the All Progressives Congress will win at all levels during the 2023 general elections. The state publicity secretaries of the All Progressives Congress APC in the Southwest Geopolitical Zone have congratulated Ondo State Governor Arakunrin Oluwarotimi Akeredolu on his appointment as the Southwest Coordinator for the Tinubu-Shetima Presidential Campaign Council. At a meeting in Abeokuta, Ogun State capital, the APC image makers resolved to explore the advantages inherent in unity and cohesion to maximize potentials in the interest of the party and its candidates. In a statement issued and signed by the Secretary of the Conference of APC Publicity Secretaries in the Southwest Zone, Alex Kalejaye, the body commended the appointment of the Ondo State Governor as the Zonal Director General for the Ashiwaju Shetima Presidential Campaign and promised to cooperate with Governor AKEREDOLU and other stakeholders to ensure overwhelming victory of the party in the Southwest in the forthcoming elections. The spokespersons called for issue-based campaigns devoid of fake news and hate speech to enhance peace and harmonious relationship among ethnic leaders and stakeholders across board in the overall interest of Nigeria. To steer its affairs, the meeting unanimously endorsed the spokesman for APC in Ogun State, Comrade Tunde Olatunjoye, as the zonal coordinator, while Honorable Alex Kalejaye of Ondo State will serve as the secretary. The Nigeria Customs Service Seme Area Command says it has seized 75,000 litres of petrol within bushes along Seme and Badagry in Lagos. Controller Bello Jibo, Customs Area Controller, said this in a statement by Mr. Hussein Abdullahi, the command spokesman, on Thursday in Seme, Lagos. According to Jibo, the seized containers of petrol were concealed inside sacks and jerry cans. He added that the petrol seized had a duty-paid value of 19,785,000 naira only. He noted that the feat was achieved due to credible intelligence received by the command on the activities of smugglers. Jibo warned perpetrators of these illegal activities to steer off the semi-border roads or continue to count heavy losses, as his men were determined to flush them out of the area. Activities marking the 2022 National Day celebration in Ogun State will commence with a Jumat service at the Central Mosque, Kobiti, Abeokuta, on Friday, September 23 by noon. A statement signed by the State Commissioner for Information and Strategy, Alhaji Waheed Odushile, indicates that an interdenominational church service is scheduled to hold on Sunday, September 25 at the Cathedral of St. Peter, Abeokuta, at 10 in the morning. The grand finale of the celebration, to be presided over by the State Governor, Prince Dapo Abiodun, will hold on Saturday, October 1 at the MKO Abiola International Stadium, Kuto, Abeokuta, starting at 10 in the morning. It will feature parade by the armed forces, police, labor and trade union groups, as well as march past by various schools across the state. All invited guests are expected to be seated 30 minutes before the commencement of each day's activities. Business news is next with Simiat Abaro.
You're welcome to the business segment of the news. Traders are hard hit by the ban on motorcycles in several states and the threat by the federal government to outlaw commercial motorcycles, popularly called Okada. Motorcycle imports into Nigeria declined by 35.92% in the second quarter of 2022, according to the Foreign Trade Report of the National Bureau of Statistics for the period. It was observed that the total motorcycle import crashed to 47.8 billion naira in the second quarter of 2022 from 74.59 billion naira in the first quarter of 2022. In the first quarter of 2022, Nigeria imported motorcycles was 57.17 billion naira from India, 17.34 billion naira from China, and 84.63 million naira from Indonesia. In this quarter, it was 1.26% of total import and was the sixth most imported items. Kaduna State Governor Nasir El-RUFAI has faulted the power sector privatization, saying that Nigeria has lost nearly 15 years of energy sector investment. He said clear roadmaps for restructure and structural reforms set up by the Obasanjo government in the electricity, power, and oil and gas sectors were protracted or abandoned by his immediate successors. El-RUFAI, who spoke at the 9th edition of the Nigerian Energy Conference held in Lagos, said investment in power generation and transmission infrastructure that were initiated by the Obasanjo government were either put on hold between 2007 and 2010 or largely dumped. The federal government has stated that the reasons for higher prices of fertilizer to include an increase in the cost of natural gas, a component needed in fertilizer production and post-COVID-19 shutdowns of key raw materials and manufacturing plant. This was disclosed by Nigeria's Information Minister Lai Mohammed at a press conference at the National Press Center, Abuja on Thursday. The minister was reacting to an allegation by former Vice President Atiku Abubakar that farmers now pay 200% more for a bag of fertilizer. Exchange rates between Naira and dollar trades to 712 Naira per dollar at the black market on the 22nd September 2022 today. The exchange rate between the Naira and the US dollar at the parallel market at 712 Naira per dollar on Thursday morning compared to 712 Naira 5 kobo per dollar recorded as of the close of trade on Wednesday. On the other hand, the local currency depreciated further at the cryptocurrency peer-to-peer forex market, trading at a minimum of 718 Naira 696 kobo on Thursday morning, a 0.29% decline from 716 Naira 59 kobo per dollar that it traded at the same time on Wednesday. Also, the Naira dropped marginally against the US dollar on Wednesday to close at 436.5 per dollar from 436.25 per dollar that is closed in the previous trading session. Meanwhile, a total of $133.97 million was traded at the window, a decrease of 5.33% when compared to $141.5 million that exchanged hands in the previous session. And finally, the federal government, through its National Agricultural Seeds Council, has commenced moves to make Nigeria a full member of the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development in order to boost the country's export of seeds. It disclosed this at the workshop on international OECD seed certification on Wednesday in Abuja, where the global cooperation trained Nigerian officials as part of the requirement to become a certified OECD member nation. In his address at the workshop, the Director General, NASC, Dr. Philip Ojo, said Nigeria's seeds would be sold globally with ease once the country attained the status of an OECD membership, noting that this would halt all forms of seed dumping in Nigeria. And that's Business News Tonight. Many thanks for watching. Back to Bukola for the segment of the news.